Hello there, my name is Jack Hammond, and this is a demo video for a program I created to create and manage a database using Python and MySQL, in this case just for recipes. If I go and open MySQL Workbench just to get a better view, we can see that this recipe database has 5 different tables: category, ingredient list, instruction, and recipe. These are linked together with their primary and foreign keys. Like, for example, if we look at the ingredient list, there's nothing in here now because I have the program auto deleting afterwards, but it would pull up the recipe ID and then which ingredient it has, the quantity and the measurement unit, and then you could do a query with a join statement to see which actual ingredient is being called, which does happen. I'll show you that code in a second. And then so to go over, I have a few different functions. One just to create the connection. This is with MySQL connector is the module that I use, or the library that I use to execute SQL commands. And then so right now we connect to the database, and then we create the tables if they don't exist, those 5 different tables. And then we have a few functions to add categories, add ingredients, and then add recipes, to get the recipes, to modify the recipes, delete them, and then of course the main function. And so in this main function, just running through pretty briefly, because it is a lot of lines of code. That's something I was surprised about, is how much code it takes to do MySQL commands inside of Python. But so we establish that connection, and then we create the tables if they're not there. Then we add the categories and the ingredients if they're not there. I have some error handling with that. And then to add a recipe, you want to first make an ingredient dictionary with has the ingredient ID, the quantity, and the measurement unit. And then you want to make a list of instructions, which is just strings of the text of the instructions in order. And then to add that recipe, the parameters are that connection, the name of the recipe, in this case chocolate cake, the ID, the first one is 1, that dictionary of ingredients, and the list of instructions. And so, and then we can just call that get recipe function, which pulls all of that information, makes it in a nice readable way. And then over here we can modify a recipe, and then I call that modify recipe function. It's very similar to the create recipe. And then I get that new recipe, and then we can just delete it out and then close the connection. And so if I run this, we can see that on the terminal it says, hey, look, we connected version 8.0. We successfully created the tables and added the different categories and ingredients that will be used for all the recipes. And then for each recipe that we add in here, they'll say recipe added successfully, then we can say get. And this get function is the one where we can actually look at it and use it like how a cook would. It gets the recipe ID, the name, the category ID, and which the category name is for that ID. And then since I do have multiple tables, let me scroll up to this get recipe. We do need a join statement. So this right here is where we have our ingredient list, because the ingredient list just contains the ID, the quantity, and the unit. So in this case, we connect that where the ingredient list ID equals the ingredient ID from the ingredient table is how we get, for example, if it's ingredient 1, 200 grams, and that means flour, 200 grams, and we can print it out like this to make it a lot more easily to read. And then, of course, the instructions over here, and it does order by step number, which is important. And then prints out the step with the number and then the actual text of the instruction. And then this is where we modified it, and you can see the amounts and stuff change. And then it shows recipe deleted successfully, and then the connection is closed. So this is my database that I have here. A few things we could add is it's right now it's just on a local server on this machine. I would want to see the cost and the difficulty of having a dedicated server for that, so everyone could go and put their own and connect to it without changing the code. Otherwise, if you download this off GitHub, you will have to change your own information over here. And then, but yeah, that is all. Thank you guys so much for listening and have a good day.